Okay, now we're back on our regular Mac.
All right.
How long does this take you, this kind of process?
Oh, it's the process that takes the longest amount of time. Coming up with this technique for myself took a while. And the other time-consuming part is once I've laid everything down on the paper, I have to come back and glue it to the paper. And that can be a little bit trying at times. So I definitely have to be in the right frame of mind and the patient mood to make these.
Meditative,
but once I'm in the
almost.
groove, it goes. It's not too bad.
Well, earlier we were discussing good questions to ask you, and one of them was what kind of glue you use and the evolution of that.
That was actually given by a friend
glue
of
finding
mine.
process. That was
right.
Yeah.
I want to give proper props.
Yeah, exactly.
So ask him what glue he uses.
Right.
So, what glue do you use?
And I said I could wax poetic about different types of glue. So
You've got 6 minutes 24 seconds.
okay. My favorite kind of glue is actually the glue stick, the original glue stick. I've found in the last couple of years, I don't know if they've moved their factory somewhere else, but each bottle of glue stick now has a different consistency.
No way.
So one will be brilliant, and the next one is spotty and clumpy. So what I've learned is to put the glue stick in the refrigerator, and then because it stays congealed better that way. Once it starts warming up, it starts falling apart a bit.
Right.
Are you at all in danger of eating it, or is it edible?
I don't know if it's edible. I've never tried it. It's purple though, so maybe it's grape
flavored or scented.
I would wonder about that. And by the way, this is why you watch this show, is to get the deep, insightful questions like, do you eat glue sticks? This is what television is all about. Okay, so let me actually go back to that art opening, because there was an image which really stood out. I mean, I love all of your work, and you do go through different phases. Let me backtrack actually, because although actually it makes sense, because the Carnaby Street image is black and white, and you mentioned that it was a later period for you, and you do more black and white work. In fact, you brought a piece in. Could you explain the differences between doing a black and white piece and a regular piece, and then we'll look at the Carnaby Street piece?
Sure. The black and white pieces, I actually started doing, I mount a lot of my colored images on top of black paper, so that when I cut them out, there's an outline of black, and it helps them stand out from the rest of the images, helps them pop. So I basically looked down on my studio floor and saw these little bits of black paper, and I was like, boom. Just make black and white stuff.
It's
and
the
I started
negative space, isn't it?
It's the positive and negative space, which is something I love to experiment with. So I started picking bits of scraps off the floor, and that's how it all began.
Okay. Let me show you Carnaby Street.
Great.
You know Carnaby Street.
I
Let me
do.
show the audience at home Carnaby Street, which is right here. Let me remove that for a second. What I absolutely love about this picture is the figure of the female. She is so gorgeous, and she just gets that whole sort of sassy London of the 60s feel. Let's bring it back up there again. She's smoking a fag. She's in front. What's the image behind her? Is it like television, a shop? Is it excitement?
It wasn't really anything. It was a way for me to frame the smoke coming up from her cigarette, and to add just a little bit more tension to the piece. That was really the point there, and I guess it's open to anyone's interpretation what it might mean to them.
Did you find her as an image and then cut her out in silhouette, or tell us how you...
I found that image. It was part of an old the sewing patterns, and it was from the 60s, and it was for a little mini skirt.
Did she have a cigarette on the
No, she didn't. I basically turned her body and added a cigarette, and then added her head to the side, blowing out smoke. So I thought, boom, that makes it work.
Yeah. And below, behind her, is that some sort of seating arrangement, or...
Below,
it's another little punctuation in the...
It's a punctuation. The rectangle sort of another, tension point.
Creates
And then the round things, kind of floral to me, like
Yeah.
it's sort of an impression of a garden or
It's a
a
lovely
bush.
example of abstracting.
Thank you.
know, and very honest to the period, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, the petals are sort of paisley shaped, so definitely trying to keep it in the mod realm.
And Carnaby Street, because it's to evoke that mod 60s London feel.
Exactly. She was so mod to me, and I love the mod aesthetic. And yeah, so I thought I'm going to call it Carnaby Street.
Well, there's quite a movement in late 60s, early 70s of all white or black and white. It was op art. It was
Right.
So your reference is spot on, as one would say in London, I'm sure.
Spot on. Spot on is absolutely
Yes,
absolutely
spot
correct.
on.
Actually, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What's next for Mike Kabler?
What's next? Well, right now I'm working on some commissions, and very excited about that. And I'm also trying to line up some more shows, and I have some tentative shows for the near future, but I haven't received a 100% agreement to that commitment. Yes.
I see. Could you actually? We've only got about just over a minute left.
Okay.
I'd love to see that last piece of work. If you could just hold it up for the camera and just bring it up there. Beautiful. There we go. And as a matter of fact, what we have here as well, you've got it mostly black and white, and you've also got a little bit of your magazine,
Right.
children's picture art sort of intruding in there, which I think is absolutely
Thank you.
incredible.
This picture to me was kind of inspired by Mary Blair, the children's illustrator. She did Small World at Disneyland.
Oh, really?
And several children's books, and I've always been fascinated by, the kind of lollipop flowers and fantastical world that she creates. So this is sort of my homage to her and my own take.
Wonderful. Okay, Mike, tell us again where you can be found, and let's get your website information out there, and all the particulars so people can find you.
Okay, I can be found at www.paperprescription.com, and you can also Google me or find me on Facebook.
Okay, and thank you very, very much for watching the show. Next week we'll either be back in nature doing a bike rerun, we're not quite sure, but it's always going to be fun, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.